Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Man, I just had this thought in my mind today. I'm sitting on my porch, and it's raining. A little pond out I can see in our neighborhood, and it's pretty neat. There's some eagles that come every once in a while, and they'll come. And today I was able to watch this eagle have some lunch. And it's pretty awesome to watch. And I'm thinking about where we are in this devotional and talking about peace this week. And what does peace look like? A lot of times I try to get a mental picture of things that helps me find peace in my life, or helps me find resolution, purpose. I like to see things. I'm a visual person. I like to have pictures. And I'm thinking about today, what does peace look like? And that's, sometimes we can paint a picture. We can come up with some things that are pretty neat, and but if we're talking about leaving anxiety, putting to death anxiety in our life, how do we do that? Can we just paint a picture? Is it that simple? I don't think that it is. Though we might want it to be, though we might be able to have moments of peace when we paint a picture, how can we more have constant peace? It's my thought this week. How can we begin to have more peace than anxiety? How can we just not have moments of peace, but everlasting peace? And the scripture today in this devotional, I'm just going to get right into it. It's talking about Abram, and I love this. Genesis 12:1. Now in Haran, the Lord had said to Abram, "Go away from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house to the land in which I will show you." Can you imagine God speaking to you and saying, "Hey, I just want you to leave, I want you to get away from everything that you know, everything that's happening, leave your family, and I want you to go to a place that I'm not going to tell you where to go yet." Can you imagine what that would, the anxiousness that would come into your mind, the worry, the doubt? The next piece of scripture he uses as well, book of Joshua chapter 3. They're getting across the Jordan. So when the people set out their tents to cross over the Jordan, the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant before the people, and when those that were carrying the Ark came up on the Jordan, the feet of the priests carrying the Ark were submerged at the edge of the water, for the Jordan overflows all of its banks throughout the time of harvest. The waters which were flowing down from above stopped and rose up in one mass and a great distance away at Adam, the city of Sisera. Those waters flowing downward toward the sea of Abra, the salt sea, were completely cut off, so the people crossed the river opposite of Jericho. Guys, can you imagine these people? God saying, "Hey, I want you to cross the Jordan, this river that was in flood stage." That you ever watch videos on the internet when rivers are in flood stage and the water is just running and breaking down bridges and tearing down trees? And can you imagine God saying, "Hey, I want you to walk across. Just go ahead out there, walk across. Don't worry." Anybody here? That's some crazy stuff, right? And I begin to think about this in our life. I love how the author talks here. He begins to talk about, he makes a list of all the things that make him anxious in life, and the common thread that he says is his desire to be in control. Come on, somebody. Can anybody empathize with that statement? The desire to be in control. We want to know what's happening. I can't even tell my kids we're going to go get something to eat because they're like, "Where are we going? What are we going to have? What's it going to be? Are we there yet? What's going on? Right? And we joke about our kids, but we're the same way as adults or no matter where we are in life, right? Students, children, adults. We all want to know, where are we going? What's happening? What? We want to be in control. We want to be able to control the outcome. We want to be able to control the things that happen at Walmart. We want to be able to control the things that happen at church. We want to be able to control the things that happen at our school. We want to be able to control the things that happen on our sports teams. We want to be in control of everything. We want to know the answer. We want to know where we're going, because then we can decide whether we want to do it or not, whether it's worth it or not to us, safe enough for us to do it. Do I have enough time? Will I be able to still be able to hang out with my friends? Will I still be able to get my Xbox time in for the day? Will I still be able to watch my YouTube videos? Will I still be able to do the things that I want to do? Me. I want to be in control. But here's the problem, guys. When we read the Word, God tells us to trust Him. When He was talking to Abraham in Genesis, He was saying, hey, trust me. Just go out here. I want you to leave everything. Leave what you know. Leave your commonality. Leave your comfort zone. Leave your family. Leave your friends and just go. Don't worry about where you're going. Just go. Abram couldn't be in control. He just had to trust. When the Israelites were going to go across to Jericho, they were like, well, this doesn't make sense. This isn't safe. What's going to happen? As soon as we hit the water, we're gonna be swept away. This doesn't make sense. But God didn't say to try to understand or come up with a plan. He just said, go and trust me. Trust and control do not coexist. They can't happen at the same time, guys. This is hard, right? Let's go through the scripture and see what else the author has here. We did Genesis 12:1. We did Joshua 3:14-16. Psalm 37:5. It says, commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him also, and He will do it, guys. David knew it. He said, hey, I got to trust Him. I don't understand, but I'm just going to trust in Him, and I believe that He will do it. We have to trust and believe. John chapter 11, verse 38-40. A lot of scripture today. So Jesus, again, deeply moved. I'm reading from the Amplified version, if you guys are wondering where I'm reading from. Excuse me. So Jesus, again, deeply moved within to the point of anger, approached the tomb. It was a cave, and a boulder was lying against it to cover the entrance. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to Him, Lord, by this time there will be an offensive odor, for he has been dead 4 days. It is hopeless! ! Jesus said to her, did I not say to you that if you believe in me, you will see the glory of God, the expression of His excellence? Right here in this moment, Jesus is talking to one of His very close friends, Martha, and He's saying, hey, didn't I tell you that if you believe, you will see? We have to trust. We have to believe. It doesn't make sense. Man, I think about the song Rattle. If you've not listened to the song Rattle by Elevation Worship, go listen to it today. It says in the song, since when has impossible ever stopped you? All right, he's talking about Jesus. Jesus, when has impossible ever stopped you? Just ask the stone. He doesn't talk about the stone here with Lazarus. He said, ask the stone what happens when God says to move the stone that was covering the grave of Jesus. Just ask the bones what happened, right, when they told Him to get up. It's good stuff, guys. Brings us to Romans 12. Oh, we got two more. Romans 12, verse 2. And do not be conformed to this world any longer to its superficial values and customs. Come on, this is good. But be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, so that you may prove for yourselves that the will of God is that which is good and acceptable and perfect in His plan and purpose for you, guys. We cannot be conformed to the values, to the superficial values and customs of this world. But we have to be transformed as we mature spiritually. Renewing our mind, focusing on God values. We have to learn to transform our minds and think about God values. This will help us to trust Him. This will help us to stop trying to be in control. Last scripture. We are destroying sophisticated arguments and every exalted and proud thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of God. And we are taking every thought and purpose captive to the obedience of Christ. Guys, we have to take every thought captive. We have to be careful. We have to be careful how we use our mind and what we use it for. I want to read this part of the devotional here. Evaluate your heart and motives today. How much of your stressing and worrying is an attempt to be in control? Make an attempt today to put your trust in Him again. Here are a couple of tips. Acknowledge your struggle to Him and declare that you want to trust Him. Acknowledge your struggle, guys. Be honest. Stop trying to play games. Stop trying to wear masks. Stop hiding. Stop hesitating. And start to declare that you want to trust Him. God, I want to trust You. I don't know how. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's hard for me, but I want to. Stop the negative thoughts. Guys, when negative thoughts come, we got to get rid of them. We have to replace them with God thoughts, with healthy thoughts. Guys, I believe in you. I know that you can do this. I know that you can do it. I know that you can begin to transform the way that you think. I know that you can take every thought captive. That's what we have to do. If we're going to start to trust God and stop trying to be in control, we have to learn to not just paint a picture, but to take on that battle in our mind and take every thought captive and turn it to God, turn it to Christ. It's okay to have the negative thoughts, but learn how to replace them. When they come in, turn them. Say, God, help me get rid of that. Help me to think of it from Your perspective. Take me out of the situation and help me to see it with fresh eyes. Guys, let me pray for you. God, thank You so much for today. Lord, thank You so much for what's happening in our life, even though it may be hard. God, I believe that You have us in a season where You're teaching us, where You're molding us, You're shaping us. And maybe for some of us, that means You're tearing us down and You're putting us back together. God, help us to put the pieces in front of You. Help us to be honest. Help us to say, hey, I do struggle with being in control. I do struggle with these things in my life. And God, help me to take every thought captive. God, help us to trust You. Help us to learn. And maybe we have to start with something small. And God, that's fine, God. And I believe that's fine. And God, help us to start with something small and teach us to progressively get better and to begin to trust You with more and trust You with more and trust You with more. God, we love You today. I pray that somebody would take a chance today, would take a risk today and put their trust in You. God, we love You today. We thank You. We pray these things in Your name. Guys, I love you. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you next week. Peace out.